Hi everyone, welcome to the Winning Deck. It's an initiative where India's best B school case competition winners come on the platform and then they share about their playbook. Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Winning Deck, brought to you by MyPrepZone. I'm Shubham Ranka. I'm the founder of MyPrepZone, and through this series, I'll be sitting down with India's brightest B school minds who have cracked some of the toughest case competitions out there. Our goal is pretty simple: to take you inside the real playbook, how these winners have approached their case competitions, the skills they have sharpened, the highs and the lows, and of course, their 2 cents for all of you, the next generation of CAT aspirants and B schoolers. Today, I'm super excited to kick things off with someone who has truly raised the bar. Joining us is Premankur Roy from XLRI, who is currently leading growth and PNL at Blinkit and is an MBA from XLRI Jamshedpur BM batch of 2024. He is also a national winner at Mondelez and Dabur, a runner-up at Accenture Strategy, and a serial finalist across Coca-Cola, Puma, and Asian Paints. He has also been recognized in India's top 50 B school students and Unstop's top 100 leaders. Premankur, welcome to the Winning Deck. Before we get into the cases and all of us, maybe tell us, with such an incredible run, how does it feel to be called as the case competition king of XLRI?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, sir. And firstly, I would like to just start off with giving some credit to MyPrepZone, where my GDPI prep began, and one of the reasons why I could make it to XLRI Jamshedpur in the first place. Case competitions was one of the very important pillars of my 2 years of MBA journey, and I cannot wait to share more as to how I went about these cases and how did I go about it.
Great. I'm personally very excited. In a lot of groups and posts, I keep on getting this message from the students. Sir, is it really important? How do we manage case competition with the entire exotic curriculum of B school? So hence this initiative. Let's very quickly jump on with an introduction and we'll set the session into a crystal clear 45 minutes podcast. So let's start by telling us a little bit about your B school journey, Premankur.
Sure, sir. So prior to my B school, I did my undergrad from BIT Mesra. Then I went on to work for a couple of years before joining XLRI. At XLRI, I was a part of the Marketing Association of XLRI, which is one of the oldest B school communities in India. And I was also the lead vocalist of Bodhi Tree, which is the XLRI band. Apart from that, case competitions was one thing that was just consistently there in my radar. Whenever there was an opportunity to get, whenever there I could get a PPI, whenever I could get a pre-placement summer internship, or just get cash, just to sponsor some of my trips.
I'm sure cash would be the most motivating pillar for us.
Yeah. Yes. So I think it all goes very hand in hand, the kind of opportunities that it presents and the kind of perks that it has. Both of these things go hand in hand. So yeah, that's about it.
Great. So maybe this thing, I didn't really know, Premankur, that you were also a band artist. So maybe some story for some other time. But yeah, for today, let's maybe talk more about when did you first hear about case competition? Because prior to B school, I don't think case competitions are there in our undergrad or maybe in our work. So what was the first exposure? Which was the first case competition? How did you actually traverse through this entire journey of case competition?
So interestingly enough, as you said, I also did not have a lot of understanding of how case competitions work before actually getting an admit for XLRI. But the window between the getting the admit and the B school starting, the 1.5 months, there are a lot of WhatsApp groups that get formed of all the students who have these admissions. So there I got to know that, okay, there is something like a case competition. A friend of mine who is also a batchmate of XLRI, he was a childhood friend. He told me that, there is this case competition by some college and maybe we should make a team, maybe we should participate. And that is the first time that I got to work on a case. And that was even a month before joining XLRI in the first place.
Oh, so you've started case competition even before entering into a B school.
Yes. did not
That,
go that well. We did not make it past the first round, but
yeah,
yes,
at least
that
it
was
has
the
gotten
first
you
time I
some
got to
idea
do.
about.
Yes,
Sure.
yes, sir.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm sure we'll learn more about your journey into a B school. But yeah, so let's start with maybe one case competition where you were a national winner. Let's talk about the Mondelez case, right? So how did this case competition come? Do the place commerce share about the case competition with the entire college, or do you have to go outside college to maybe figure out on different websites like Unstop and then apply? So how did you first of all get to know about it, and then what was the problem statement? Was it tricky? How did you apply to that and all?
So, interestingly enough, my first national win came in my first term itself. First term,
Okay.
first year, and we got a mail from the Placecom itself that Dabur's Verve season 1 was being announced, and Dabur was taking it very seriously. There was a heavy cash prize also associated with it, but the most important perk was that the national winners of this case competition would get a direct summer internship in Dabur's flagship management trainee summer internship program. So that is when I made a team with a couple of my friends, and we went about the case. There were multiple rounds. Of course, to start off with, there was an aptitude round and a puzzle round that we had to solve.
Okay.
Then we had the first case, and then we had the final case in the finals. So
Got it.
the case that we had was very interesting. It was in the toothpaste category because Dabur is second biggest player in the market right now in the toothpaste category, right after Colgate. And it was in the gel-based toothpaste category because gel-based toothpastes are actually growing very fast. So
True.
while Dabur's presence was largely limited to the chalk-based category, the solid category that we have, the solid toothpaste category, but it also had a product in the gel-based category. So that was the case as to how should Dabur position its existing gel-based product better, and what are the key consumer trends, what do the consumers prefer, what are the insights that we can get when the consumers are making a gel-based toothpaste purchase. Are consumers even aware of gel-based toothpastes, and what are the kind of demographics that we should target? How should we position that particular SKU?
So were they
That
just starting off this particular SKU, or were they already into the market, but then they wanted a growth part, as in how did they go about the
correct.
market strategy for an existing product?
Yes, sir. So the latter, actually, they already had a product in the market, but the product was not really doing that well.
Got
So
it.
while the gel-based toothpaste overall contributes to, let's say, 21% of the entire toothpaste category, Dabur's presence in that was not even, let's say, in the top three. Whereas in the overall toothpaste category, it was the number two player. So for that bigger player, not to have a presence in a subcategory of a larger category,
True.
even when they already had a product, that was the challenge.
So that looks like a very practical on-ground problem in the entire company, Dabur, which they have, for which they have reached out to a lot of these schools. Great. So as soon as you've received the case, as soon as the problem statement was shared, the first step is to probably form a team and then apply for your nomination, right? So how was the team structure? How did you decide who to reach out to? Was it just your friend? Any diversity factor that you have kept in your mind?
Right. So, sir, in my first year, in my term one, honestly, I did not have that good an understanding as to how to really pick a team. So, luckily, I only made team with some of my friends at that time, and they approached me that, okay, let's just make a team and let's just form a team. And
Okay.
that is how we went about this case competition. But going forward in multiple other case competitions, there were a lot of different factors that I used to keep in mind while forming teams, right?
Okay.
Diversity was definitely one of them, but apart from that, I always wanted to team up with people who had complementary skills rather than similar skills,
Okay.
right? Let's say if I was good at marketing, I was good at GTM strategy, I would want someone who was good at financial analysis of those aspects of the cases. I would want someone who was creative in terms of designing the PPTs. I would want someone who would be a person who would juggle between the two roles as well.
Sure.
So that is how we ended up forming teams going on in the other case competitions. But
How
this
many team members are there typically in any case competition?
generally 3 to 4, most case competitions have 3-member teams. Some case competitions, like let's say ITC Interrobank or Accenture Strategy Business Challenge, these case competitions have a 4-member team.
So is it advisable to keep the same team across all the case competition, or should you keep on trying with different things?
It depends on people to people. Some people stick together throughout all the case competitions. Even at XLRI, we had some teams which consistently did well, who had, let's say, 2 key members, and the third member would keep on switching depending on the industry that the case was from.
Interesting.
So, but for me, it did not work that way. I had multiple different teams with multiple different peoples across all case competitions wherever I did well.
Yeah, and I see that has pretty well worked for you, seeing the number of case competitions you won.
Yes, yes, sir.
So, and people also talk about the gender diversity here. So, is it always advisable to have, say, 1 female, 2 male, or?
While it does not sound ideal, but yes, I would say some gender diversity helps you, not just in terms of how the company looks at your team, but also in terms of bringing that extra additional perspective when you are solving the case.
Absolutely.
You know, a female's perspective of looking at a case is also sometimes very different.
True.
Right. So that kind of let's say, for example, cases such as Marico has a lot of products which actually targets these females. So if you make an all male team, while you might be very strong on your theoretical business concepts, the real life insight that a woman would bring to a table when solving that case is unmatched.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. So first step was getting the problem statement, forming a team, applying to it. After that, how did your team come about breaking it down? Was the research involved? Any frameworks that you have kept in the mind while designing the solution? Any user researches? Any creative spark that you've done? So how did you actually approach the problem is what I would like to understand.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, one thing that I believed very strongly in, especially when solving FMCG and FMCD cases, was consumer surveys and primary research. Primary research.
Yeah, viewers, let's maybe take 30 seconds to explain FMCG versus FMCD.
Okay, so FMCG is fast-moving consumer goods. Let's say our normal grocery items, toothpaste, dal, chawal, chips, oils, etc. All of that comes under FMCG. And FMCD would be durables, fast-moving consumer durables. Let's say like electronics, appliances, mobile phones, TVs, maybe larger, maybe even furnitures would come under FMCD. So all of that is under FMCD. So as I was saying, primary research is something that forms the base of how you are going to tackle that case. Because if a company has approached B school students to find a solution to a case, to present ideas as a solution to the case, they want the students to get their hands dirty. They want them to go on the ground. They want them to talk to people, take surveys, and bring actual real insights.
True.
Right. So be it for Dabur, be it for Mondelez or Asian Paints, for all of these companies where we had consumer facing products, we did a lot of consumer surveys. These also included Google Form primary research surveys. We also did long 30-minute phone calls with some targeted groups.
And how did you find these targeted groups?
Right. So just to give you an example, for Asian Paints, right? They wanted to, the case was somewhere around the premiumization and the decor aspect of beautiful homes that they have, right? They have stores around beautiful homes. So they wanted to understand what are the kind of people who would want to get into those stores, and how do people actually buy their furniture and interior decoration stuffs, right? So the first thing that the 3 of our team members did is we had 30-minute recorded phone conversations with our parents.
Interesting.
Right. Yes. And we also started talking to some of our relatives who were, let's say, living in tier 1 cities, who actually had a taste of those interior decorations and stuff. We talked to some of our friends and tried to understand if any of their parents were interested in all of this. So we talked to them. On the contrary, let's say, talking about Mondelez, we had a case around how to increase the brand value and the market share of Boneville in the dark chocolate category. So we talked to many different people, and then we formed a group of 3 people who liked dark chocolate and 3 people who did not like dark chocolate, and we had an open conversation with the 6 people along with the 3 team members, trying to just understand and let others also bounce ideas off each other and debate as in why dark chocolate is good, why dark chocolate is bad, and trying to get some insights from there.
More like a focused group discussion.
Focus group discussion. Yes, sir.
Interesting. Interesting. Very good. Yeah, continue. So that's how you have done your research. Then after the research was done, what was the next step?
So again, once the research was done, we found out where are the awareness gaps. Let's say this is across all the case competitions, right? This is where are the awareness gaps, or where are the market gaps, where are the opportunities. In general, where are the gaps which the company can actually address, right? So identification of those gaps and trying to find what a relevant solution can be, what are the competitors also doing, right? So with the gap finding, or your competitor benchmark also goes hand in hand, because that gap is being serviced maybe by someone else, right? So let's say when you're talking about Boneville, why is Amul dark chocolate working? What is it that is clicking good for them, right? When we are talking about gel-based toothpaste, why is Colgate Max Fresh Gel working?
Yeah.
Right? Trying to get those insights. And then, so my idea always is, and my team's idea always was, that wherever you are trying to do a gap identification versus wherever you are doing a competitor benchmarking, when you are trying to bridge that, your solution should be a combination of 2 things. One, it should be an out of box idea, but on top of it, it should also be something that will be easily implementable by the company.
Makes sense.
Right?
It has
So
to be
you're
like really
out of
practical. You can't just throw
Correct.
information that is after 10 years down the line.
Correct. And when you are not just 10 years, sir, it should be financially viable as well.
Sense.
Right?
Yes.
So it should not be so out of the box that the company has to spend a lot of money and there is no ROI to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for that, sometimes background research on what the company is currently doing and what their current plans are also helps.
It helps
Because
to
if you
synergies with your solution, right?
Correct. Because if you present something to the panelists or to the organization, which already aligns with something that maybe they were thinking but have not yet implemented, it clicks better with them.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And for that, you need to know what the company is doing. So have you also considered talking to the employees of the companies?
Absolutely. So a good thing with Mondelez was they had assigned us a mentor within the from the organization itself. So they also helped us in crafting our solution a little better. With other companies, what we did was we tried to talk to some of our seniors who did their internships in those organizations. Right, and tried to talk to some of our alums also who were already a part of those organizations, trying to run by what we are thinking, that hey, do you have a quick 5 minute to chat? This is what we are thinking. What do you think about it?
Got it. So it is basically the validation phase. You research, you innovate, you figure out whether it makes financially viable, and then you go about validating that particular idea with a lot of peers.
Correct. And a lot of times we had to scrap our entire idea completely because of some of the feedback that we have gotten from the mentors or seniors or employees.
Great. So I think very well talked about the approach. Then when you are sort of presenting it to the judge, right? Maybe if you can share a couple of slides that has really wowed the judges, that you think was the make or the break kind of a deal, which has really put that kind of an influence to the judges. So how do you put that information in the form of slide? And maybe if you can just share 1 or 2 slide
Yes. So I will definitely share a link of my repository with you, sir, and you can maybe upload the link in the description section of this video as well, where students will be able to access some of my PPTs, which helped me go ahead in further rounds of these case competitions and even helped me win some of them. So again, fitting up all of this information into one place is very tricky and very critical as well. So one approach that my team generally took was, while you are going about, let's say, a 10-slide presentation, when you are presenting to someone, before ending the entire presentation, we would always have a sum it up summary kind of a slide, where we would, after ending the entire presentation, we would again encapsulate the entire idea of what we've just talked for in the last 10-15 minutes. Because these panelists sometimes, they also do not really are 100% attentive. Maybe sometimes they missed out a single point, or maybe there was some difficulty in coherence of all of your slides with each other. So
Exactly.
it's very important to present a sum it up summary kind of a slide just before you are wrapping up your presentation. This is specifically important for the presentation rounds.
Got it. Got it. So then when you've given the presentations, maybe if you can share what is the hardest question that has come from the judge, and then how did your team go about handling that?
Oh, yes. I think there have been multiple difficult questions, especially when these are senior leaders, they are CXO level people who are taking your interviews, or when they are in the panels when you are presenting. There have been a lot of difficult questions, and we always had slides divided within the team members. As in, okay, if these are the slides, I will be taking up all of the questions that come related to this slide, and these slides my this member will take up, and these slides this team member will take up. So generally, for all my presentations, we had slides divided between all of the team members who would take the primary onus of that slide. Having said that, when the team member is probably not able to deliver 100% on that slide's answer, someone or the other will step up to cover up that answer.
But typically, what kind of questions do the judge ask? Is it trying to challenge your hypothesis, trying to
Yes.
counter what you're putting in, or something else?
Correct. So, in our Mondelez case competition, our idea was to present Bonneville as an affordable luxury, right? We wanted to present it as an oxymoron that, it's affordable as well, but it's luxurious as well. And that is how we should, we should position it. And we got a lot of backlash and back and forth from the judges as well, right? They were like, it's not an oxymoron, it's an oxymoron to an oxymoron. It does not make sense at all. And our financial projections, I mean, sometimes, just in order to win, sometimes our numbers are also probably not 100% accurate, being students. So we had shown projections that, Bonneville can become, let's say, 1,000 crore revenue brand in, let's say, 4 to 5 years of plan. And the judge was like, do you know how many 1,000 crore confectionery brands exist in India? And we had no idea about it. Right? So while we tackled it and later realized that 1,000 crore was being over optimistic, because there are very limited number of brands in that industry who actually become a 1,000 crore brand. Let's say a Silk, a Dairy Milk, a Kit Kat, a 5-star, but not every brand can become a 1,000 crore brand, right? So yeah,
that whatever projections, whatever, especially the financial calculations you do, right? Because that's what struck the viewer or maybe the judges, right? That, okay, whatever ideas you're having, what is the final metric? What is the final output that you will give to the company? And if you kind of make this number too rousy, right, then probably, yeah, that's what will make me very inquisitive. Okay, hey, is it really possible? Has there been any player in the entire industry who has done that, right? And hence doing that L2 level of research on your numbers and having very good command of it is something that can really stand you out. Interesting.
absolutely. I would just like to add one thing, sir. So we talked a lot about primary research here. Secondary research is also as important, is what I would like to add. And a lot of your secondary research helps you make assumptions when you are doing these calculations, right? Because these calculations are based on assumed numbers. So a lot of your assumptions can also be questioned. So you have to have your facts straight. If you are taking a number out of a McKinsey report, if you are taking a number out of a BCG report, if you are taking a number out of a government website, you should have those facts with you. That where did you get this number from? Okay, I got this number from XYZ research from this source.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that
sure
kind of
research has become pretty easy now, given the era of LLM. You just put your problem statement, you'll have sources, you'll have all the summaries and everything. Interpret
correct.
fancy.
But
dashboard.
I really feel it's very important to double check, because
So,
the LLM models and
still
the AI
manipulating.
models that we have right now are not 100% accurate. So while I advise students to make the most of using AI, Chat GPT, Groks, Perplexity, whatever they are using, but just make sure to doubly check your facts before putting them onto a presentation.
True, true. I'm sure like hallucination is one unsolved problem which everyone is trying to just minimize now. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you. I think yeah, that sort of helps. Talk about your game plan of the case competition, particularly Dabur. So let's just do a quick lightning rapid fire kind of a round through some other big wins. No long stories, just the highlights of it.
Sure.
So Tower is something that we have talked about. Maybe let's talk about Mondelez. What made this particular case different from Dabur? And one skill that you have probably picked up from here.
Sure, sir. So, in Mondelez, different things were that when you are assigned a mentor, right, it really helps you think differently. It really helps you sharpen your thoughts differently, right? Dabur, I did as a first year student, as a first term student, where our financials were a lot based on assumptions, right? The
Right.
projections were a lot based on assumptions. But in Mondelez, we really did the real hard work. We really went on the ground, really did the primary research to the T, did focus group discussions as well. And our financials were also much stronger, right? So the one learning that I had out of Mondelez was to, get your facts right, get your assumptions right, doubly check your facts. And that is very important when you are solving a case competition. In some case competitions, while the panel might overlook some facts, and you might just slide off by mentioning something that is probably very flowery and good to see but not practical. But if a judge catches that, it might become very difficult for you.
Sure. Interesting. So I'm sure experience speaks. So Mondelez was your like Dabur was your first one, and then
Mondelez was my last one.
Mondelez
Yes.
was your last one. So yeah, there has been a lot of learning curve between the
Yes.
first and the last one. What about Accenture strategy? Because that is a consulting case. How is it typically different from an FMCG?
So actually, in Accenture strategy, reaching up until the case round was a big challenge in itself, because
Okay.
Accenture strategy had multiple rounds of even their aptitude tests, even their guesstimates that they had. It was very challenging.
Yeah,
So since
typical
we knew,
consulting.
yes, get absolutely. Since you're talking about a consulting company's case competition, guesstimates have to be a part of it, right? So since we already knew that this is the kind of case that we had, we took two people from consulting backgrounds in our team. One who had already interned with Accenture Strategy, and another who had interned with Carney, and their
Okay.
experience really helped us a lot. Plus, our third teammate was a person who was really good at math, right? He
Got
was
it.
really good at math, really quick with his numbers. So
Okay.
when you are giving a timed aptitude test, where only, let's say, the top 10 out of all of these teams from two campuses of XLRI are going to make it, and everyone is applying, it becomes very important to have people who are good at math, who are good with these consulting numbers, guesstimate, who have this experience of structured thinking.
Yes.
So my only part in that case competition was that since I have won multiple case competitions, that is why I was taken in that team, because everyone else was way better than me in all of the consulting aspects.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And then let's maybe lastly talk about Asian Paints, where you were the second runner-up. So what was so unique about solving a manufacturing kind of a use case versus consulting or maybe FMCG?
One phrase, okay, purchase journey, right? When you are talking about FMCG companies like Dabur or Mondelez, the purchase journey or the purchase decision time is actually very quick, right? The customer, it's a low involvement purchase, right? The customer makes very little effort, very little time invested in order to think if they should buy this or not buy this, right? It's a small ticket value item as well. But when you talk about Asian Paints, the purchase journey is very long, right? The customer needs to be aware. They need to go through a very long consideration phase.
Yes.
right? So the consideration phase is very important.
Got it.
So that is how Asian Paints, entire case of Asian Paints was very different from any other company, was that you have to consistently keep engaging with the customer in the consideration phase,
Got it.
right? Which makes the job of the company to actually invest in the consumer a lot more harder, right? As compared to FMCG companies.
Yeah.
So that was one difference that I felt was there. And the ticket item, of course, when you're talking about interior decorations, beautiful homes,
Yeah.
walk-in stores, the kind of customers, the kind of mindset that they have when they are making that purchase is very different. So your entire case solution should be catered accordingly. Your case solution will need to be tweaked accordingly for a longer consideration phase, for a longer ticket item, and the positioning will be have to be done in that way.
Fair. So I think what we all have learned and discussed today is every case is different. It all depends on the company, sector, industry. So you really have to probably go and do a lot of research, talk to a lot of people, read about that company. There is no one shoe that will fit everyone here, right? That's great. So let's maybe now talk about the goods and the bads of the case competition. Let's just zoom out a bit.
Hmm.
And given you have played the entire circuit here, maybe tell us honestly, what's the best thing about case competition for a B schooler?
I think PPIs are the best thing. I mean, I would rank them even higher than the prize money that you get, right? Because this gives you a shortcut, a direct shortcut to your dream organization, right? And while the shortcut will not come without hard work, but it will get you a direct access of getting selected and starting your career from, let's say, a Mondelez or a Dabur or Asian Paints or Accenture Strategy. So the PPIs or the PPOs are directly helpful here. And if I talk about myself, I interned with Dabur and I got a PPO there as well. And I got that internship directly through winning the case competition, no interviews as well. I directly got it from the case competition.
Interview journey is more difficult, it's more complex, your probability is lower versus the case competition with these big enterprise companies where you just showcase your work and then you have a direct PPI and that probably sorts out your second year at MBA.
Correct. And especially, sir, I feel like even for consulting shortlists, a
Yeah.
lot of these case competition wins really make a difference.
True.
So a lot of people who want those MBBK shortlists as well, they also
Yes.
work very hard for these case competitions for those shortlists.
Yeah. So mostly the folks who don't have a 999 kind of a profile from top undergrad colleges, these case competition is perhaps a way for them to get a shortlist from MBBs of the
Correct.
world.
Even if people say that general engineer engineer males, how will they get into FMCG marketing and sales? You
Yeah.
have no relevant work experience, but you want to, switch your industry and change your industry badly. You don't want to get into a tech consulting kind of a role. You want to get into an FMCG role. This will get you that shortlist without going through that shortlist process.
Yeah. So this is that hacky way for you to just bypass your profiles, bypass your older sins, and just get into your dream company.
Absolutely. And
Now,
not to forget, the money is also a big perk. I mean, I bought my first iPhone from my case competition win. I sponsored my grad trip from my case competition money win. So
wow,
yes.
I'm sure, sure. Now, what's the darkest side? Stress, time, saying, how do you manage it with your curriculum? Does it take a hit?
Correct. I feel like, sir, there is no dark side, because when you sign up for being a tier 1 B school student, you have to go through the grind,
Yeah.
right? So I feel everyone who is getting to apply to these case competitions, you are privileged to have this opportunity. While there will be a lot of stress, while other things might take a hit, you have to find that balance to, maintain everything.
True. True. Yeah, I'm sure. Like while preparing for students during their MBA interviews for the GDPI phase, I see most of the students writing, "Why do you want to join a B school?" Case competition. Right? So case competition is perhaps one decision factor for students to go for the MBA to get the practical learning. So yeah, if not here, probably when.
Absolutely.
So maybe because you talked about tier one B schools, right? What about tier two, tier three B schools where a lot of students sign up? because probably these companies only target tier 1 colleges, right? So if I'm from tier 2 or a tier 3 B school, how do I apply, or how do I get exposure and a chance to be a part of these case competitions?
So very well asked, sir. It's a very valid question, and I mean, Unstop is one place, or there are Metal, there is Metal, there is Inside IIM. All of these places host multiple different case competitions, right? So
Yeah.
if your placecom is not sending these direct invites to you, you can go out there and look for case competitions on these platforms. There are multiple good FMCG, FMCD companies, multiple good consulting companies also who open these case competitions for, let's say, top 30 or even sometimes top 50 colleges of India, right? So that will cover all the tier 2 colleges as well, right? And if you are not eligible for some of these case competitions, there are case competitions organized by tier 1 B schools as well. Case
Okay.
competitions by IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, XLRI. All of these colleges also organize their own case competitions,
Sure.
right? So maybe start off with those case competitions, try and brush up your skills, and there will be some big FMCG, FMCD, or consulting companies case that will be open for your college too, or will be open to all colleges, irrespective of which college you are from, and then you can target them.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example, sir, the runner-up in Mondelez, we were the national winners, but the national runner-ups were actually from TAPME, and their presentation
Wow.
was excellent.
That's
Their
amazing.
presentation was excellent.
Sure. So I'm sure,
So
like in today's world, it's not a chance of opportunity. I'm sure everyone has the opportunity. It's just how well, how fast do you grab it? So mostly for tier 2, tier 3B schools. I don't think now you can probably go and say that, hey, we didn't get an exposure to the colleges. We have ways, and probably will put down all of these websites as a part of the description where you can just go and check it out.
absolutely, sir.
Very curious to know, Premankur, if you had to do all of it again, what is the one thing that you would do differently?
Maybe find a right time and stick with the right team and stick with that one team throughout these case competitions is something that I would like to try. But I don't think I would do it any differently. I think all of these experiences taught me different things. So
Sure.
I would do it in the same way all over again if I had to. But as an advice, I would say, try and find your right team within the first 2 to 3 case competitions that you can develop a rapport with
True.
and that you can stick with.
Yeah, because bonding, repo, understanding each other's mindset, having the same motivation to attempt
Correct.
the case competition is super important.
Super
Yeah,
important. Yes,
great.
sir.
Great. With this, we are in the final leg of the winning deck, which is called as your 2 cents. So maybe for our entire audience of CAT aspirants, early B schoolers, give us your 2 cents. Where first, maybe you talk about any practical resource that you would recommend to these folks to maybe start preparing about it, any YouTube channel, book, tools, website, and maybe one mind shift, the entire mindset shift that they will need to be carried for these B school competitions. Over to
Sure.
you, bro.
Sure, sir. Uh, I would not recommend one specific tool. While I watched a lot of case studies from Think School back in the days, right now they've started doing a lot more podcasts rather than case studies. But if you go back 3 or 4 years in their catalog, Think School had a lot of good case studies, right? Which will help you understand a lot of different industries in a very detailed way, in a fun and interactive way as well, right? So that is something that I referred. But apart from that, I would recommend people to even reach out to their professors if they can, right? You have some of the brilliant minds at your disposal. If you can just go out and reach out to your professors, also reach out to your seniors who have worked in the current organizations, they will probably give you insights and ideas better than any Google search or chat GPT search can give you.
Sure, sure. Very well said. I think these professors have 15, 20 years of experience. They have mentored a lot of folks, your alumni. So yeah, what better than them? But
Yes, I feel,
typically,
sir, they are not you. I don't. I feel they are not used enough,
correct,
and they
correct.
are they are eager to help. All of them are ready to help.
Yes, I
But
also recall it from my experiences of IIM Calcutta. None of us have ever reached out to a professor. Now that I reflect back, I probably wonder why we had an expert, uh, very closer to us, but still we didn't really materialize it. But yeah,
So
very
that is one mind shift change that is required. Another thing I would just like to add is thinking that there are too many applicants and I will maybe not be able to make the cut. So why to put in that effort,
yeah.
right? So
Well,
that is
it's
another
like, very practical. With your chances of getting into a B school was still very, very less than your chances of at least cracking the case if you just do a math around it. So,
absolutely.
but yeah, very well said, Premankur. So thank you so much, first of all, Premankur, for coming and giving us your time and sharing your entire journey and insights with us today. And to our listeners, if you found this helpful, do not forget to like, share, and maybe drop in the comment like which case competition you would like us to cover next. This is The Winning Deck, and I'm Shubham Ranka signing off. Until next time, when we explore probably another industry and another champions playbook. Stay tuned. Thank you, Pramankar.